Welcome everyone. This is the In FPL show, and we are back as ever. I am joined by my two partners in crime. First off, Alex Doyle. How are you, Doyle?
Good, JB. I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. We've had a mad panic because we've got a Fanteam deadline. People don't know Fanteam's like the Fanteam's like the FPL but paid. So you pay for your team, you play against everyone else. Everyone puts money into the prize pot, and I'm doing quite well this year. So mad scramble to get the transfers in time because I casually forgot about it. But it's all done. So hopefully should be as rich as Josh by tomorrow. We'll update you next week on our progress. So yeah, glad.
This podcast is not sponsored by Fanteam. That's not a sponsored placement there.
It will be if I win, and then we've got Josh on here as well. So maybe we can get some sponsorship. We're open sponsors. I mean,
We'll
do
get cancelled if we're promoting these gambling sites, JB. Can't be doing that.
No, well, I'm going to say no. I'll happily accept any money that they've got that they want to put forward, whether it's for drugs, companies, whatever. We'll accept it all. But anyway, that's another conversation. Also, we are joined by Joshua Waldridge, the richest man on the planet. How are you, Josh?
Oh, I'm good, thanks, mate. Cheers. I'm glad we got your problems all sorted just in time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I can try and win Fanteam and then Doyle can win FPL this year, then we'll be free champions. So it sounds quite good, won't it?
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty likely I win FPL from my position of 500k, wherever it is.
Yeah, probably. You're going to go
rosy.
triple Everton soon anyway, and then once
That's
they
true.
want to the title, you'll be ahead of the curve and shooting up the
Very
table.
true. Very true.
It could happen. It could happen. So what have we got coming up today then, Doyle?
So we're going to start dissecting Josh's transfers last week, trying to get in the mindset of what he did. Because it's pretty baffling from the outside, but I'm sure Josh will have a great explanation there. Well, we might touch on our teams as well, JB, mine and yours, before we move on to looking at striker options. Obviously, there's some Haaland related issues, which all of us have. We'll have a look at who we can replace him with, who are the good options, before we go on to next week, which should be a sizable section this week, with certain events transpiring, not to give anything away. But yeah, we'll spend some time on that. So let's kick off, I guess, with the game week review. We'll go bottom to top. So who came bottom?
Pretty sure that's going to be me. Because there's nobody that could finish below me. I had an absolute stinker of a week. Obviously, everyone got Salah vice captain, but apart from that, I did appalling. So
you were almost top, JB. Doyle, you were top.
Come on, Josh. This is why everyone's tuning in. We could do a whole show on you.
We need to be cancelled. This is an absolute joke. What I'm looking at on this screen here, the all in FPL table, the best of the best. We got a top score. We got a top score that almost lost to like Son captain. I mean, it's like or like Salah captain or something. Yeah. So we'll talk about my transfers in a minute, but going into Sunday, I was on 20. No, I'm going into the last game, sorry. So going into the Tottenham game, I was on 20 points from 10 players. So I had one player left. My captain had already played, who somehow ended up being Jared Bowen. I actually don't know how that happened. I mean, it's like, it was just... When the Haaland news dropped, I had no idea who my vice captain was. I don't know if anyone else had the same like worry for a second or something, but I had no idea. I was pretty sure I would have put it on Bruno.
I had the same on Fanteam where none of my teams had Salah vice, which is a killer.
It just wasn't even a discussion that he wouldn't play. Obviously, it wasn't even a thought really. I don't think so. Yeah, he's injured. We're not sure how long for. But yeah, somehow Son saved me this week. I mean, this could have been my worst ever game week, like for sure. But Son literally doubled my score in the last game, and obviously some people didn't have Son, which really saved me, to be honest. It got me through all my last man standing leagues, which I'm really bothered about. So that was phenomenal. He literally like soared me to second bottom in all of them. It was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, this is
I don't think you deserve that, to be honest with you. You deserve the worst game week rank ever after your transfer decisions. Chat us through the thinking, Josh, because
So I am, and I'm not joking here. I'm 100% confident that my transfers were correct this week. Like I'm absolutely
no
certain.
chance they were correct. No chance.
Still smoking that crack from last week.
Did you watch the Liverpool game again? Did you watch
No, I
what
saw
happened?
Salah scored and got an assist there, so he did pretty well.
They didn't have a shot till the 75th minute when a joke second yellow card was given to Ayew for literally no reason. I couldn't believe that was given as a second yellow. And then he scored, obviously, and then he made a sideways pass, which wasn't even on the highlights of Harvey Elliott's goal because it was so far before he scored, right? And he got a 13-pointer. It was the most undeserved vice captain bullshit that I've ever seen in my life. He should have got like a 2-pointer doubled, and then I would have had a good week then. Like it's that's how insane it is. 26 points for everyone's vice captain. Sorry, not even some people's.
Not my
Everyone's
vice
vice captain. Sorry, not yours because you're crap as well.
I'm even more crap. I chose to captain that guy.
And the worst bit was I ended up having double Crystal Palace defense on the pitch as well. So I got the worst swing I've ever seen from an absolute bullshit red card. So yeah, well done to the Salah vice captainers. I decided I needed Haaland basically, and I couldn't get him in 2 moves any other way.
I just don't really see why you thought that. To be honest with you, like obviously it's a great pick, but it's one game you're getting for because it's going away in 2 weeks, so you have to like reverse the transfer then.
That
anyway.
means that means it was 2 games, by the way.
Yeah, but the second game is Palace at home. It's not the best fixture ever. It's not, well, it is for Salah, but
I think Haaland got 5 goals against Palace in 2 games last year. But yeah,
but he's been crap recently.
He was the best captain for next week as well. So it was sort of a 2-week move to have the best captain for this week. I mean, the EO was absurd this week. Everyone thought he was the best captain this week. It was like 190%er or something. It was one of those that, was like undisputed sort of thing. And then next week
the game
again,
itself, though, the City game wasn't exactly a walkover. Obviously, it's different if Haaland plays, but
yeah. I mean, to be honest, this week I was just getting on board with the EO for 2 weeks. I just thought Haaland's going to be really high. I think he's the highest scoring player over the next 2 weeks. So I brought him in, and I wasn't going to captain Salah for any of the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks because week 18 I was going to captain someone like Watkins at home to Sheffield United or something like that. So I just thought I'm not going to captain Salah. He's really expensive.
Were you going to hold him over the blank?
Probably, yeah. I think so. Or flip it back to Watkins. I wasn't because as I said, I wanted Watkins captain, but and then that would have also given me something to do with the money when Son and Salah go away. I could have got Haaland back, or something like that. So yeah, that was the thinking. I've never seen anything get more undeservedly maximally punished, but but yeah, I think me and this other guy in our league were he did it way worse, or his result was way worse. Sorry, because he did it for a hit, and he also sold Alvarez for Haaland, which was like the most maximum punishment. That was even worse than mine. Like as in results wise, that was just insanely unlucky. So yeah, I think I would have kept Alvarez in that spot though, to be honest. But with the same fixture, yeah, onwards and upwards, and now I'm obviously going to be selling Haaland. So that was I faded him from week 7 to week 16. I'll get him in
2 transfers to lose 15 points and 2 transfers.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Who else did I get in off? Was it Bowen? I got Bowen in. Yeah, he blanked as well, but lost 5-0.
What the hell has happened to Fulham? This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in Premier League history. This back to back, absolute spankings.
This is the fun with you because you've been of the opinion all year that Fulham are absolute rubbish, which has been quite amusing in the last few weeks because they've just turned into like Barcelona. It's been absolutely amazing.
So 5-0, and the game before they scored 3 against Liverpool away.
Yeah, I know, lost obviously, but yeah, it was they've just scored a ridiculous amount of goals. It's been really
scored 3 the week before.
Yeah, I know. I think it's been
16 goals in 4 games.
It's been 3-3-5-5. Yeah, so one of the most insane upticks in goals scored that I've ever seen. But yeah, I still won't be getting any Fulham players, and I don't think.
I might now say that. JB, how was your week?
Absolute stinker. It was an absolute stinker. Like I say, I could talk about Josh's team all day, really, to be honest. Just taking Salah out and then what happened with Haaland, just so much fun. But yeah, moving on to my team. Well, everyone blanked, basically. It's team done, move on. The only player who actually got something was Pedro Porro, got an assist for me. And as well as that, Trippier got booked as well this week, so he's missing for the next game week. So I'll be a man down there. There's actually quite a few people who got their 5th booking of the season last week. So there'll be a few people now who will be light, especially with Haaland if Haaland isn't playing as well. So we'll probably have to cover that a little bit later, just who some extra options could be. But Bruno's obviously suspended. Didn't even touch on Bruno. Another terrible performance by Man United. 1 pointer for Bruno. I can't believe you took out Salah and you left in Bruno. Surely there must have been something you could have done.
They're different prices. I could have taken a hit. Obviously.
4 points to get Bruno out and then get someone else in for him, and then you can switch someone else around to get the cash, surely.
The thing is, I want to be an honest player. I don't want these Salah points. He's a joke. I can't be bothered anymore. He's not involved for the whole game. He passes it sideways and someone pings it in. I don't
like this conversation.
What JB saying?
We have this conversation every week for the past 2 years since we've been doing the show, and even before that, before we even did this, get him, just do it. It happens every week. He's shit, but he scores points.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It'll probably keep on happening, but I don't want to be part of this anymore. I'm
like an old man,
being involved.
You're older than me. Just like sticking to your guns. Just got to change.
So wait till you see my transfers this week, because you might think I'm flipping my moves from last week and just getting the exact same players back in. I can assure you that is not the case.
If I still see that red flagged Bruno in your team, I'll tell you, I will quit this podcast because there's no point doing it. You cannot keep him. We'll get to it later. But yeah. So anyway, apart from that, everyone else blanked. My main differential, Luis Diaz, not really been doing too much. He did score an offside goal in the last minute. He's slightly off by his shoulder, and then he got booked as well to add insult to injury. My transfer was Matt Turner out. So I took out a playing goalkeeper because he'd come back into the team, and brought in Fabianski. Just because I've already got Areola, I just wanted 2 West Ham keepers, just so I've always got one playing, and they'll do me over Christmas until like the doubles or blanks come around. And they're both. I mean, I got Areola at 4, Fabianski at 4.2, so I'm happy just to keep them now. All goalies ain't keeping clean sheets. I think they're all rubbish. Apart from Pickford, who seems a superstar. So yeah, that was the story of my week.
Go on, Jordan.
Joel, is your team glitching on my screen, or I think it is, right?
Why?
My team is showing that you just chose to captain Salah.
Yeah. Best decision in the game. Obviously, everyone else just flukes out, gets those Salah points as vice captain. Well played, all the losers. It's actually outrageous.
You don't deserve what happened here.
I'd absolutely crushed it, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, Haaland's not playing. 90% EO man, 90% captain man is just out the game. So everyone flukes the vice captain points. What can you do? You'd have definitely blanked against Luton as well. Top defense, great team. Well managed.
I like how you doubled down on it and didn't even vice captain Haaland either. You weren't having any of it. I bet you can't tell me who you vice captain, by the way, but it wasn't Haaland.
I can. It's right on my screen. It's obviously I knew the fixture was good, Josh. I knew the fixture was right for points, so I had to captain Darwin Núñez, because if Salah hadn't been making those sideward passes, it'd have been Darwin. So you have to cover it.
So you captain Salah. I feel really bad for you. Then that's fair enough. I thought this was glitching genuinely, because that's a joke. I actually can't believe that.
Yeah, captain Salah. I like the fixture. He always scores against Palace every year. He loves it. He just loves it against him.
Oh, that's annoyed me even more, because that's actually an horrific decision, and it's
a genius decision. Unfortunately, everyone else flipped out on it. What can you do? I'd have had a great week if Haaland had played and played like he was supposed to, but unfortunately, You can't do it. And then 0 of my other players returned. Yeah, so I beat JB by having less 1-pointers than 2-pointers, literally.
You didn't have a -1 either. -1's pretty bad.
No. I was actually last. The worst thing I did was very much last second change my first sub because I hadn't checked it properly. So I changed it from Udogie to Archer, who I got on for Haaland, obviously. So that would have been a nice additional 7 points, which went in the bin.
That would have made it a decent week in the end, to be fair.
It would have done. Yeah, it would have made it a strong week. So pretty annoyed at that. My transfers, I brought in Mr. Totti and Jared Bowen. I thought Totti against Forest would be a good fixture, but no, Forest went and scored. So GG there, but nothing else to talk about. Let's move on.
We might all have no goalkeeper this week as well.
Bowen was actually a really good transfer, though. To be fair, he got his XGI was 0.94, and he somehow got no returns. Like absolute loser.
Another one for the unlucky column for us, Doyle. We'll add it in.
And obviously, I don't know what's happened to season keeper, but he's not looking too great at the moment. I'm not gonna lie.
You think? Well, we better get on to the exciting bit in a minute because obviously you made a big decision this week, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, we won't spoil it just yet, you know. Let's move on to strikers talk, shall we? So Haaland's out. Who are we looking at? Who are the replacements? I'm looking at you, Josh, to carry the load here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two that are being the most discussed and are the super obvious ones are Watkins and Solanke. They're just like the exact sort of person you want to carry through this kind of period where there's a lot of fixtures and you just know they're going to play each game and they score goals as well. So, yeah, Solanke's got Luton this week, which is great, and Watkins has got Sheffield United, both at home. Those are next week, so they're the obvious ones to not look past, I don't think. But there's some other more punty options as well. One plays for your team, Doyle. Could be a good punt, couldn't it?
Yeah. Who plays for my team at the moment?
The striker for Everton.
Oh, I thought you meant my FPL team. Oh yeah, DCL. Great pick. Can't score to save his life, but aside from that.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing for a good team. You're scoring a lot of goals. Like, I think Solanke and Watkins are better, but if people were looking for something a bit different, I think he's reasonable. We touched on Fulham earlier. Now, Jimenez has been unbelievable in the last few games. And he's got a bit of pedigree in the Prem for scoring goals as well. So this might be it's not the best fixture at Newcastle, but he's got the form. Yeah,
it's not a bad fixture right now. They're knackered. Yeah. They're literally on the ground.
Then Burnley at home. Could be another 5 again. Yeah,
they could score 5 in all those.
Yeah, he's got 3 good fixtures, I would say, as a 3.
Yeah, it's a fun little punt. I like that.
Yeah, I guess he'll be brought in by quite a few casuals this week in terms of people who just look at the last few weeks' points, but ride the wave. Jamie Vardy-esque.
Cunha's scoring some goals well at the moment, but the fixtures are a bit iffy.
Yeah, Cunha was another one I considered as well. I think that's a reasonable option.
I guess we wouldn't look at the Newcastle boys.
I think that's a split now, isn't it? I think, and they're not even playing well. So I think, I think Gordon's still the best pick there, I think.
He was on the bench and come on at the weekend, didn't he, Wilson? So I think you can avoid both of them.
Anyone comes to mind, JB?
No, I think you covered most of the main people, to be honest. I think Solanke's well, if you haven't got Watkins, if you transferred out Watkins when everyone seemed to do it a couple of weeks ago when he had his injury scare, I think you have to get Watkins. I think he's now done to play. He's absolutely on fire. Villa are on fire. He's almost up there as he could be a premium asset that you have to have. He's priceless at the moment. So Watkins would be my number 1 target, but I really like Solanke as well. I just think we spoke about this last week where he's guaranteed minutes as well in that position coming up to Christmas with all the hectic schedule. Only 6.6, and he's got Luton this week, and Bournemouth look like they've turned the corner as well, and they're scoring a lot of goals and playing well. Areola might be manager of the month, so yeah, Solanke to save a little bit more cash. I think they're probably the top 2 options. Other than that, yeah, you mentioned some of the other ones. You've still got Alvarez, where potentially Haaland might be out, but again, they blank. So do you go there if you've got enough cover potentially? But over Christmas, it could give you another headache. So I'd probably steer clear of that. But I don't mind a Cunha shout. He's been scoring a few good goals lately as well, and he's cheap. And I mean, Fulham, if you're winning 5-0, 5-0, they're in really good form. Their towels are up, and Jimenez as well back on the score sheet. He's in form, so another really cheap striker. I think it's only 5.2 potentially. So yeah, really cheap option.
How would you rank them, Doyle?
That's what I was about to ask you. Yeah.
Top 3, maybe.
Yeah, I think. Well, we include Darwin in this as well. We're not mentioning him because he really can't hit a barn door with a machine gun, but his stats are still pretty good. Obviously, he's a little bit of a rotation risk going into Christmas, but I think he should start the next game at least.
Yeah, I was being very selfish there. I was thinking in my head the way I was thinking about. I've already got Darwin, so he's not in consideration. You know what I mean? But he's definitely in the discussion.
Well.
Yeah.
So I think it's Solanke top for me. Actually, I think Solanke's a better option than Watkins at the moment, just based on fixtures and general stats. He's just putting up better stats. Fixtures are better, so I think it's him.
Everyone's just switched off, but carry on.
Then it's Jimenez, and then it's Watkins, I think.
For God's sake, you're just you're like a maverick. You just can't just say it normal, can you? JB, from what you said, JB, yeah, go on, mate.
I'm literally just looking at their XGI, and it's just Watkins is just shit. He's not very good.
I mean, he's got 100 points already this season, Watkins. That's pretty decent. And Villa are playing better now than they was at the beginning of the season, I think. Yeah,
from what you said, JB, you were definitely Watkins first, Solanke second. Who would be your third?
Yeah, I think Watkins first, then Solanke. The one we didn't mention actually is Gabriel Jesus. He's back, and I think he's first choice, obviously. Personally, I wouldn't go there if anyone's tempted. I'd just say because Christmas, he's been injured a lot. He's going to, if they're playing 3 times a week, he ain't going to play all 3 games at all. They're going to play Steady Eddie and Nketiah. So I wouldn't quite look there. But yeah, look no further on Watkins and Solanke, really. Other than that, maybe Alvarez, if you want to take the upside of Man City getting back to their best, scoring 3-4 goals a game.
Yeah, we probably should really be thinking a bit more about Jesus at Christmas. But I think Watkins first, Solanke second. I would go Raul Jimenez third. I think Raul Jimenez is the third best option on this board.
I'd take a cheeky punt on him purely because of the money as well. 5.2 million gives you a lot of money to play with in midfield. You can get the power midfield of all the big boys that are currently kicking around, like Son, Saka. Yeah,
one other thing here. People might actually be able to bench Haaland and do Archer to Jimenez. You know what I mean? That might be a way of playing. Like if you really don't need the money, and then you're ahead of the curve for 19. I mean, if you literally are just have got money already, sort of thing, that might be a decent way to do it for the 2 weeks. You know, and just be ahead, because it's the same having an Archer on the bench as a Haaland. I mean, maybe in 18, Archer might help you on the bench a little bit, but yeah, you'd be way ahead. Yeah.
The most important factor of all, everyone's going to want Haaland back eventually. With all this money you've got to spend over the next 2 weeks, because it's obviously this week, potentially if he's still injured, and then they're away at the World Club Cup, make sure you don't spend all that money, because when you do want him back, don't make it so that you need him back and you're going to have to take a hit to get money from somewhere. Just make sure you, if you can, plan 2-3 weeks in advance, so you know that the week you want him back, you're going to have that money available for you. Don't just go spending like Josh would with all of his Amex credit card at Christmas, just because he's got so much money he doesn't think about it. Really plan carefully what you want to do so that you can avoid that 4-point hit when suddenly he's the hot property.
Yeah, we've been helped a little bit in 18 because obviously the 2 big assets were Haaland and Mbeumo, and they're both now just completely out. So people can just easily play through 18 now with the team they would have had in 17 anyway. You know what I mean? It's quite bizarre, but a lot of people had that problem, and maybe Flecken in goal as well, let's say. But now they're just like, there's just no ownership on Man City or Brentford, basically. So yeah, it's quite interesting how quickly it flips, isn't it?
So while we're on Haaland, we've all got Haaland, right?
Yeah.
Finally, Josh has got him. Are we selling?
I am.
Yeah.
I am too. Yeah, I was going to hold him through the World Club Cup. I'd have just benched him and played someone else as long as there's, my team, there weren't no surprise injuries. But I think now with the 2 week break, you probably do have to sell. He's held his 14 million price tag pretty much all the way through the season. So nobody's got any money invested. I think over them 2 weeks, he's going to drop at least twice, I'd say, maybe even more because everyone's going to sell him. Because of the massive ownership he's got. If it does drop, it could go sharply down, and then we'll go up again. So I think if you do hold him, you're looking at maybe 0.2, 0.3 value you're going to lose on him. And again, if you do sell him and want him back, you can make a little bit of profit on him potentially.
There's also some equity that he's just out for 4 or 5 weeks. Like
Yeah,
that could be a thing, right? Like I think if he's going to play this week, needless to say, do not sell him, obviously. Like, just keep him. But if he's not going to play this week, there's some chance he then doesn't go to the Club World Cup. There's some chance he then misses 19, for example. So it's probably good to just sell and reassess in 2 weeks, as you said, JB. So that's what I'm thinking.
I think so. It weren't like he's just got a little knock or anything. He's talking about like bones and whatnot. So nobody's quite sure how serious it is really. And even Pep was very vague. I mean, if he's talking about we hope he's back for Saudi Arabia in the World Club Cup, and that's 2 weeks away, that's not exactly a tight timeline, is it? So, I think it's one of those you have to see how he feels and how he settles down.
And like re-injury's a thing as well for something like that. Like, he could play in a game and then go back off. They might be cautious with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think they're probably going to manage his minutes over Christmas more than they would have now, which is, it gives you that decision. Will you game back in 19? But let's just decide in 19 itself, which I believe is Boxing Day, right? Yeah. Decide on Boxing Day after a few Christmas sherries. That'll be a sensible idea, won't it?
Always fun. I remember Christmas Day, I woke up in the morning and I remember I brought in Walker on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day in the morning, I got a news alert on my phone saying Kyle Walker's got COVID and he's out. It was the worst Christmas ever. Worst Christmas ever. I brought him in at like 11 o'clock Christmas Eve. And I thought, I'll do this because Christmas Day, nothing's happened. We're not going to get any news on Christmas Day. Like all the presses are done. Makes no difference whatsoever. The deadline's like done. And went down with COVID. Can't believe it.
Who texted you that? Was that his wife or something? I mean,
Sports breaking news alert on my phone. It was saying about, what was it? Kyle Walker and another Man City player both tested positive for COVID, which meant they had their 10 days out and they couldn't play and everything. So absolutely gutted. All to get 0.1 as well, that was. I thought nothing's going to happen on Christmas Day, is it? So yeah, but it did. Anyway, so
they've got a tough fixture that week as well. They've got Everton away, so he's not scoring in that.
Is that Man City?
Yeah.
Skip that one then. Yeah, we can go all the way to 20.
Yeah, I'll just go to Gameweek 20.
I think that one's a good one. I think that's Sheffield or Burnley or something.
Yeah, Sheffield at home.
It's
a pretty good one to have Haaland for.
I'm glad you're finally admitting that Haaland has good fixtures because Luton away wasn't cutting it for you, I don't think, based on what you said.
No, he's much better at home than Mr. Haaland, so what it is.
Should we move on to the next section, which is a double section, the hot topic plus a game week preview? Because the big news, Doyle, do you want to break it to everyone about your team?
Yeah, we've cracked open the Wildcard. It's a little early Christmas celebration. Somehow held it to game week. What game week are we going into now?
17. Normally you're playing your second one by now, aren't you?
I know. I'm normally well gone by this point. So yeah, we've had to hit the wild card with Haaland out, Bruno being Bruno, and a few other little problems in the team I wanted to address going into Christmas. So I thought, why not? Let's do it. So it's shaping up quite trickily at the moment. Without Haaland, it's kind of quite hard to spend a lot of the money. But we're working on it. It's a work in progress. I think I sent the latest version on the chat just now.
Do you have anyone who's like locked in for you?
Yeah, one man. one man's always locked in.
Oh
He
God,
came back this weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't even need to look to see who you was putting
Doyle,
in.
that's mine as well. Doyle, that's mine. I'm bringing him in as well. I'm bringing him in.
Obviously,
Christ.
yeah. I mean, as soon as he scored that goal, it was over. Like Richarlison was the first name in the team at that point.
I knew JB would get angry about this. I was planning to reveal it as my transfers. I thought he was going to shout at me or something.
Finally, Bruno's gone, and then I see Richarlison.
Well, we got to get the whole
One, it's
eventually.
like revolving door of the shitters, isn't it?
I'm just annoyed that I didn't see that he was back from injury last week, because if I'd known he was back, he was straight in the team. Like I just missed the news.
I can't believe I got Bowen instead of him. Doyle, we could have both had
That's
him.
what I mean. Exactly. We should have had the whole. I just missed the news.
Well, let's go through it from back to front, shall we? Start with the goalies. Neto, what's your thinking there? You playing well?
Yeah, the fixtures are really, really, really good for the immediate future. Luton at home, Forest away, Fulham at home, and he's doing well. Loads of save points. I mean, I'm not married to it, but seems like a pretty good spot given the amount of saves he's been making over the past, well, for the entire season, pretty much.
The fixtures are really good from 27 to 32 as well, which like it gives you that like longevity. You can just leave him there, you know what I mean, and you'll feel pretty good. Like 27 to 32 are the best fixtures I've ever seen. Like as a six game run for a team, it's absolutely mental. So like you've got the front side of it, you've got a good fixture in 23, and then you've got 27 to 32, which is just like, yeah, I think that's a really good pick. Actually, I'm considering myself for certain games.
And are you thinking your boy Pickford? You wouldn't go fixtures too tough for Everton?
They're really bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. He's cheaper, but a lot of tough fixtures.
Yeah, that's not really my concern. The concern is that we're actually so good that we probably won't get so many saves. So you won't get any save points. So you're sort of capping your ceiling. It's like when you pick Alisson or Edison. You don't really do that because they don't hit enough saves. So I'd put Pickford probably in that bracket.
The thing is, as well, with Everton, not only have they given you the 10-point deduction, they're now giving you like extra hard fixtures. Like you're having to play all the good teams like more than twice, which seems really unfair because I looked at your fixture run and I think you haven't got a good fixture for like 12 weeks or something. I just don't understand how that's possible.
We have Burnley away this week. We have Wolves away in 20.
It's just a tough run, isn't it? I think overall it's not a great run.
Yeah, it's not a great run.
And no interest in Bernd Leno, top point scorer, Fulham, playing well. He was up there last year as well. He makes so many saves.
He does appeal, definitely.
Bit too pricey. He's 4.7. So
yeah, I just don't really trust it. I don't know. I just instinctively don't trust it.
Very wary of Fulham, Doyle. Very wary.
Bournemouth though, they're really
all over that. Come on, the cherries.
Leno's higher owned as well. You never want to pick the guy at the top, do you? The only other guy I'm kind of interested in is, but he's got a little knee injury, is Bob Sanchez. Because those fixtures are very tasty in the near term. And I'm looking at Chelsea in general as something I kind of probably want a bit more, or I want some of somewhere. I don't know where yet.
Well, if we move on to your defenders, you could have Levy Colwell, but you've gone double Bournemouth in defence with Sensei.
Yeah, Senesi is a non. He's definitely in there. He's a legend.
You've even got the money in the bank to literally transfer Sensei right now to Colwell if you wanted to. So you could have the Chelsea defence, but you're choosing the Bournemouth defence instead.
I think it might have actually been me. I think I might well end up on Colwell. I'm a bit concerned. Is he definitely like nailed? Is that like a thing?
They'll start They'll start The Apprentice this week at right back over playing Colwell. Literally, it's absolutely mental. What's going on? James is injured again, Doyle, so he'll play. I think
he's probably our best defender, to be honest.
So you think he's pretty nailed?
Yeah, everyone might miss one game over Christmas, but we've got Thiago Silva as well, who's about 77. So if anyone's going to drop out and get arrested, it'd be him.
But okay. I thought Colwell was nailed last week is the problem, and then he obviously got lucky. He came on for 63 minutes, but
yeah, he can play across the back as well, though. So with Reece James out for 3 months now. Apparently, he's proper recuperation on his hamstring, so Colwell can play there as well. So it gives us even more options.
Thiago will get a rest at some point as well. I'm surprised he hasn't had one already, to be honest.
Well, he didn't play the weekend, so that was his rest.
Oh, he didn't play, and Colwell didn't play. Who played centre half?
Badiashile and
Ignore the Thiago Silva point. Then I just assumed because Colwell hadn't played that Thiago Silva had definitely played soon.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll be playing again anytime soon after they got bullied by Carvalho at the weekend. So
yeah, I didn't think about
no,
that.
we're not talked about that very much actually, JB. How did you feel after that game?
I mean, we lose every week now, so I don't really pay much attention to who we're playing and what's going on. So
same with us actually, but we win every week. It's kind of the opposite. We just win so much now; it's kind of losing its meaning a little bit.
exactly, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So you've gone with someone who's an explosive asset. Not many people have got him, and I guess this is the sort of play you like, right? You like a player who can score lots, who's in form, but nobody else owns, so you're the only one. Trent.
Mikalenko.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Trent, to be honest with you. I don't really like the fixtures very much, but
so it's only 8 million that you put him in then.
Well, it's really hard to spend the money. That's the problem. It's really, really difficult to spend the money anywhere because obviously I was quite interested in Trippier, but now he's banned, so I don't want to go there. And Newcastle are awful. So it's kind of like you've got to put the money somewhere, and he's kind of the place I can put it.
Would that be when you want Haaland back? Is that who you'd probably ship off at 4.5 or something to get the money and then?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be some sort of triple move to get back to Haaland. To be honest, it's going to involve a hit, but.
This is what I was saying earlier. Like you're in a tricky situation now because you're going to want Haaland back, I assume. But because if you're using a wildcard, you do want to spend all the money and splash it about, I guess. But then when you want to get him back, it may take a -4, potentially a -8, unless you've got two frees.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of it as well. Is just making sure I've got enough cover in this team too.
Unless you want to roll with Solanke and Rao
next week, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they can probably cover him. They're probably a bit better than Haaland is as an asset. But
the good news is you've got lots of cash cows in this team who are all crap. So there'll be no problem like finding the money. You know what I mean? So
very true. The only other guy in defence who's very nailed for me is Pedro Porro. I think he's just such a good asset. He is gonna have like a massive score one of these weeks soon because he just flirts with it every single week and doesn't quite get there, but. He's so good.
Yeah, so few wingbacks delivering. Like there's hardly any clean sheets at the moment, but for actual out and out wingers, with the inverted fullbacks as well, I guess you could say. He's just looking so good. He's always in and around shooting. Assist. I think he's got 4 out of 5 assists now in his last 5 games. So he's really doing well compared to a lot of players who are just getting 1-2 points every week because nobody's keeping a clean.
Is there anyone else you'd think of? Defender-wise?
Well, it's only a small thing, but I think we can do better than Kabore. I mean, I think they're just never going to keep a clean sheet ever. Like they just never will. So I just think there must be a better cheap one. Obviously, Branthwaite's in the conversation, Doyle, surely for the.
Yeah, and I think that was it as well. As potentially I'll just get Branthwaite. I'm just a bit annoyed because this Burnley fixture this week, I kind of wanted to play an Everton defender for, but he's suspended. But I think I'll fade the Everton defender and play Colwell instead and hope he plays or something and get Branthwaite. Seems sensible.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, there's not many options at all in defence, is there?
No. Not a huge amount.
I'm just trying to think who I was looking at, sorry, but I think you've covered most of them. I do like the Bournemouth defender, just for the short-term fixtures. So yeah, you've already got that, so that's good.
The other fullback's quite good as well. Kirkes, maybe you could do the triple up.
Tsimikas is reasonable still, I think.
Yeah, I think he's fine. He will miss the odd game though, whereas Trent, that's the good thing about Trent is you sort of get the nailedness at least. It's better asset from a.
We've had to finally sell our Palace boys as well because their fixtures are garbage, aren't they? It's so bad.
Yeah, I think it's all ending for the Palace run. They've done really well, but
they're good medium to long term. But it's just these next sort of 7-8 weeks. There's about 2 playable fixtures, I think. So you might have to just reassess it when the time comes. I think. Yeah, when you need to do a transfer.
Tough with the defence, but what about your midfield then? Are you pretty sold on that? Is it definitely the Tottenham boys in the middle?
The Tottenham boys are very nailed. I think it'd be very something very weird would have to happen, an injury or something for those two not to be in there. Salah, very nailed. Unfortunately, just comes off his arse and goes in the net every week. It's why fight it anymore? Then Bowen and Saka aren't nailed. They're two I've stuck in for now, but I could move either of those relatively happily.
I think I like having a bit of Arsenal coverage. I think that's nice. You could go Odegaard though; he's still good. Yeah, your midfield's going to be very similar to mine by the end of the week, so I think it's very, very, very good.
Yeah, Odegaard's good.
Did you consider Cole Palmer? Chelsea's nice run of fixtures on penalties.
I want Palmer. It's a money thing. Again, I've got too much money. I don't know where to spend it.
Is that why he's been upgraded to Richarlison?
Exactly. Yeah, he need that big upgrade.
It is quite a big upgrade in seriousness. Like it's like Richarlison plays as a striker. He's always involved. He looks brilliant. Like whenever he plays, he's got passion. You know what I mean? Cole Palmer got booked at the weekend, didn't he, for diving?
I mean,
there's a decent chance he gets rotated, right, Palmer?
I wouldn't have thought he's been so good. I mean, Poch really been winning games at the moment. If he starts dropping Palmer as well, I mean, people might start calling for the sack again. So,
well, I would say that should be a serious discussion, shouldn't it? Really, because you've spent £1.4 billion and you're about 14th in the table. So, I mean, it's like
I do get the argument, but at the same time, it's got to be widely acknowledged that 1.5 billion or whatever is just an absolute waste of money. It's not really Poch's fault that we've paid so much money for this bag of shit that we've got.
Well, he said he needs to spend another 500 million quid, right, or something. It's quite funny because I was looking the other day. I was like, oh, maybe Nkunku's back as a little punt, and I couldn't find him. And it's because you've got 2 pages worth of players. You've got that many players; it doesn't even fit on 1 page. Yeah, but you need to spend more money, apparently.
It's abysmal. But luckily, they're all this bag of shit players. They're all on 8-year contracts. So,
yeah, so you got them for the long term.
They're all on like 200k a week, and we've got a while to come good yet. So,
Exactly. If they do develop, they'll develop there. That's a good thing.
Exactly. This time in 2031, we're going to be looking good.
Can't wait to see Jackson develop. Fucking hell.
I do like Palmer as an asset, though, in seriousness, but I'll just have to figure out how I can get him in if I can.
He's just too cheap, isn't he? That's the thing. He's just too good for the value. Yeah.
And I just think the fixtures
are so good.
Yeah.
But then just fade it. Hope Chelsea stay shit, and because everyone's got him right now.
Yeah, it's one of the players you just instantly won't get because of the ownership, right?
Yeah, I don't love the ownership, but the fixtures are great. Is there any other defender from Chelsea I could get if I wanted it? Or is no one nailed? Yeah, is no one else nailed aside from Cole?
No one's really now. I'll go Cole, but that's the only one.
Disasi plays a lot.
I was going to say Disasi must be second choice behind Colwell.
The only thing is Badiashili's back now as well. He's been injured most of the beginning of the season, and he's actually come in and played last few games as well. He's got some minutes, so not quite sure how Poch rates him. So nobody could say for certainty. He might really like him, so not quite sure how that affects things. He's
in good form as well, Disasi. His last 8 games: 1-1, 0-0, 2-2, 0-2.
Who would you go with, Sanchez v Neto? You two?
I'd go Neto.
I'd go Neto, just good plays.
I like the saves as well. I know Chelsea. Sanchez has been getting a few saves, to be fair, but yeah, I'm just not sure about Sanchez's fitness. If you went Sanchez, would you go Petrescu as the reserve, or would you Petrovic? Sorry, or would you go?
It's just too much, isn't it?
Because you want the 3 Chelsea spots, don't you? Open really for these fixtures, don't you? Really, so I would just go Neto and keep your game week 1 hero as the reserve.
I wouldn't even bother. We're playing so bad that it's not even worth it.
We're not talked about that yet. Dubravka
ahead of the curve.
First choice. I've held him all season on my bench.
You're going to be the only person, when you did that thing at the end of the season, you're going to be the only person who had Dubravka from week 1 to week 38. Like, you'll be the only person on the game. The other defender I like, by the way, I forgot about this, Pau Torres. Villa are looking much better defensively, especially at home now. They've got good fixtures. Their fixtures are just really good, and to be honest, they're just good anyway. So, yeah, I'd consider him for quite cheap. I think he might be a good option.
He's the most nailed of their centre-backs as well. I think he's been really, really good for them. So he's almost like in the JT Rio Ferdinand mould of, you just don't drop him. He's just a bit of a leader on the pitch.
Yeah, I don't really like it. I'm just looking at the XGC. It's not very promising, but I'll have a look at it.
Sheffield United's nice in the blank though, because that might be a week where you end up playing 4 defenders or something. You know what I mean? It's just like if you get an injury or something, it does help, like having that upside in such a key week. I think.
True.
You still got Saka as well? Then you've succumbed to Saka finally.
Yeah, just because I can't spend the money anywhere. There's no other options, right? Like, who else can you pick? Everyone's out. Everyone's suspended. I might go Odegaard just to not have that loser in my team anymore.
There's no chance you end up with Saka at lock. There's absolutely no chance.
Feels unlikely. I might just put in Palmer in and just put 4 million quid in the bank and leave it for Haaland.
I do think it helps to have some in the bank. You know what I mean? I do think that will really help you.
I might just do that.
I mean, that'll probably save you 4 points when it comes to getting Haaland back, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
You've just got to wait Palmer v Saka over 2 weeks. Is it worth 4 points? That's basically what the flip is, isn't it?
You'd have the 4 million in the bank, get rid of Trent, and then there's your 8 million you need to upgrade Solanke or Rao, whoever you're talking about.
Yeah, makes sense. Any other mids that we like?
I still like Gordon, but I agree with what you two have been saying. They're just so tired and they're not playing very well at the moment. It's more his value that he's just so cheap. And when they're playing at St James's, there's always a chance that he's gonna outscore that price tag for sure.
It's 3 great fixtures as well.
There you've got some 3 really good.
Maybe not Fulham actually, because Fulham are going to win 5-0. But
so yeah, I don't mind Gordon. The other cheap players as well. You've got Hwang at the moment in your team, your real team at the moment for Wildcard. He's been doing really well, and Decore, he's obviously doing well.
Yeah, the fixtures aren't as good for either of them. I think they're both great options still, but the fixtures aren't quite as good as they are for other teams over the next 5 or so. That's the problem. I do really like them.
It's quite easy for the midfield to pick itself at the moment, though. There's the ones you've got, they're sort of head and shoulders above the rest. Them boys, Gordon, they're the ones I'd be looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was Wildcard, I'd have 4 of your 5 midfielders, and then I'd have Odegaard over Salah. Like that's what I would wildcard to, literally. So yeah. And then obviously Palmer, Hwang, and Gordon, as JB said, are all really, really good as well. I think that's the 8 or 9 you'd be picking from, really.
Yeah.
Kulusevski looked brilliant at the weekend, by the way. I should add that for Tottenham. I know you can't have 3. You can't have any more Tottenham.
I was just looking at him.
He was unbelievable on Sunday, playing in the 10. He looked absolutely phenomenal.
The only issues as well, where you got Son, Richarlison, and then they got Brennan Johnson as well. He's been playing pretty good for Spurs as well. Don't all fit into the.
It is. That's the 4 that start, mate. It's going to be Richarlison up top, Brennan on the right, Kulu in the 10, and then Son on the left. That's their starting team.
Kulu's just playing the Madison team role there.
Yeah. Lo Celso's been playing a little bit, but after what happened on Sunday, Kulusevski will 100% start the next game in the 10. He was absolutely class. And he's been rubbish on the right as well. They've been criticising him quite a lot on Twitter and stuff. So he moved it round. I like the way Big Ange is. I think he's a really good manager. So yeah, I think that'll be the team for the next couple of games at least, the 4 they played.
Well, talking Doyle into the Tottenham attacking triple up here.
He's already got Porro, mate. He's done.
Get rid of him. Kulu back in.
Porro's the most attacking one.
Yeah.
Porro +2 for the Tottenham
Kulu
attacking
will be
treble.
slipping in Porro, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Tottenham looked really good at the weekend. They've looked good going forward in every game, to be honest. But the weekend especially was an absolute obliteration. It was crazy.
Should we move on to the strikers then? So pretty much like we said.
The 3 we talked about. My top 3.
Yeah, he's got his top 2, and then he's got Watkins as well. Yeah,
I mean, we all know that Darwin Núñez is going to be in there come lock. Like, it's just not going to happen, is it? I won't be able to resist, but
Darwin is captain.
Though it's I am put off though by the fact that he's now like actually owned, like people actually own him, like so.
Yeah, there's no point over Christmas anyway. I don't think.
I really liked him when he was differential, but now everyone's got him. I'm a bit like, well,
And what will your plan be with you if you keep this team then? So you got the 5 midfielders and then 3 up top. Would it be benching Raul most weeks?
Yeah, probably. I think it's just over the Christmas period. I think it's not necessarily bad to have like a
He'll
third
get a
attacker.
surprise benching and he's going to play a few games. So
Given he's so cheap, I don't really hate it.
He's so cheap. That's the key point of it
you
all.
just have to look at him as a little Archer third on the bench upgrade, don't you? And then he probably won't be third on the bench because he'll be ahead of a couple of defenders, but he is in that slot.
I might have to start him with Watkins every week then. Watkins might be my first bench guy.
Yeah, exactly. You're second and third striker. So, I mean, why are you playing Watkins?
Maybe Saka. Maybe I'll stick Salah on the bench. Maybe he'll be there.
That's probably what I'd do if I was you. He's although Man United at home is probably the best fixture on the game at the moment. So I think you might have to play him.
He does love a goal against United as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, not too bad at all. I think it's maybe shuffle a couple of things around in defence. But other than that, it's pretty standard. What do you think, Josh?
A little bit boring, isn't it? But
yeah, I don't think this is what you end up on is the key. I think this is what a lot of other people should end up on. But I don't think this is what you end up on, unfortunately.
I think the spice is the Richarlison double Brentford D, right, which was okay. Raul.
It is hard to spend that money. It's really hard.
There's just not a lot of options. Like it's really, really difficult to find anything that's punty and fun. Like if I'd have done this 5 weeks ago, it would have been so off the beaten track. But now it's kind of hard. And to be fair, I actually don't mind being a bit not template, but it's template, I guess. But it's like because everyone else can't get to it, because everyone else got fires to put out. Everyone's got Haaland, Trippier. They've got to use the transfers elsewhere. So it's actually not a bad time to sort of get ahead of the template a little bit while people converge onto it over Christmas and then jump off once we get out of the other side.
I think where you've obviously got everyone's playing, a lot of people over the next 2-3 game weeks are going to have a lot of problems. There's so many injuries, Haaland and Bumo, rotation, all the suspensions, Trippier. People are just going to be down to 10, maybe even down to 9 some weeks, or people are going to be taking 4-point hits, 8-point hits. Just naturally, you should creep up the table a little bit by using your wildcard here. So it is probably worth like 10 points maybe over the course of the next 2-3 weeks. So it is a good time to use it, I think. Whereas if you left it, you might not need it. It's definitely worth deploying now.
Yeah, I think so. I think I will do that. Leave money in the bank for Haaland as well. I think that's sensible. Rather than trying to figure it out later, just do Palmer to Saka to Palmer. Even then, I'll still have to do 2 transfers. But
yeah, but 2's fine. That's free. Two should be free if you roll next week, so that's fine.
I'd still rather have the season keeper Saka. I think I'd probably do Trent to Colwell maybe, get the 4 million or 3.5 million.
I just don't think Saka's very good as an option. I still don't. I really not that involved. He still seems really wide to me. I don't think his numbers he puts up are particularly good. I might be wrong, but when I watch him, I still think he's doing the same thing he was last year, which is staying way too wide, not coming into the box enough, not having enough shots on target. So I'm like, I don't really want him.
I hope JB says the same to you that he said to me about Salah. I hope he says the same thing. Otherwise, there's some favouritism going on here.
His XGI is worse than Cole Palmer's, and he costs 3 million more. Like, why would I have this loser?
He scored some world.
He shoots less
from outside the box.
So can Cole Palmer. Do you ever see a shot at the weekend? If that was any other keeper in the world other than Pickford, that would have flown top in. Thankfully, little arms just reached up, palms it away, no problem.
Anyway, we should move on to your team quickly then, Josh, and tell us what that bag of crap's doing.
Mate, you're just so unfair towards me compared to Doyle. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous now.
Doyle's got a good team now. He's got Saka and Salah, so that's all I want from you guys.
I don't have a good team for playing my wild card. I mean, anyone can do that. That's not the skill of the game, is it?
He's still putting him in on wild cards, so I'll take it. No Bruno, Saka and Salah in. Done.
Yeah, I think that in all seriousness, Doyle, I think that's really good because then you can decide Trent or Salah which one to sell to get Haaland back. You know what I mean? So it's the one thing I wanted to say, by the way, obviously Son and Salah are going to be away from game week 21 for about a month. So you obviously want both now, but people need to be having a plan for what to do when game week 20 ends, you know what I mean? Because you're going to want to sell both because they both cost loads of money, you know what I mean? So Yeah, I think that's when we will see teams with a lot of money in the bank because people will already have Haaland presumably as well.
So they got it week 20. What?
Yeah, so you'll want to sell Salah, I think.
Oh,
in
so you
20
literally just do week 20. Yeah, so you just do Salah to Haaland week 20.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy days indeed. My team, got no goalkeeper. Bruno's suspended. Haaland's injured. Got one transfer.
Yes.
I'm
you
hoping
doing Bruno to them?
I'm going to leave the goalkeeper. Well, there is an option to bench Bruno. I'm just trying to work it out, JB. I'm not sure. There's two options. I either bench Bruno, number one, or number two, Bruno to Richarlison. I'll leave it up to you. You can choose.
Oh my God, it's like Sophie's choice. What do you do?
I think bench Bruno, Josh, and sell Saka. Have you got Saka?
Yeah, Saka to Richarlison.
Sell him for Richarlison.
Come on, people. Let's get real.
I think Bruno loves Christmas haul.
Come on, Bruno to Palmer, yeah? Good fixtures.
There's no chance. I'm getting Richarlison 1,000,000%. Bruno to Richarlison, and then I
will laugh if Richarlison's on the bench next game. Then you
no chance. Did you see his brace?
There's no more international fixtures till the new year either.
Come on, Bruno to Palmer. Seriously, do it. Come on, get the money in the bank.
No, there's no chance I'll be owning Cole Palmer.
Even if 1.1 million over Richarlison.
No, I don't need the money, mate. I'm selling Haaland as well.
Watkins in your team as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Haaland to Watkins and Bruno to Richarlison, and probably play without a goalkeeper. But there's only two. I can only do two moves. I can't take them on to say, you know what I mean. So
who's your keeper?
I've got Areola and Johnston. Neither have been ruled out yet, but you know.
Well,
what?
Can you not do Salah for Fernandes?
I knew you were going to say that. I don't want him. He's not going to be in my team for the rest of the season. I don't care. I knew you were going to say get Salah back. I mean, what would be the point in that? I don't understand.
So Haaland for Solanke and then Salah for Bruno.
Okay,
sorry. Can you do Watkins for Haaland and then Bruno to Salah?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'm not going to though.
So you can get Watkins and Salah in your team this week.
So there is some merit to just flipping my transfers from last week. I sold Salah and Watkins last week. That sounds stupid now. I will admit that, right?
You've got to look at your team this week. You just got to look at your team this week. What do you need? You need Watkins, you need Salah. You can do it easy in two moves. Then you get rid of Bruno and Haaland, who's injured for 3 weeks or whatever. Come on. Even you're a smart guy, Josh. Come on.
I know, but it just seems more simple to do Haaland to Watkins, Bruno to Richarlison. I just think that just seems better to me. I don't know. What do you think?
Watkins and Salah. Come on, just do it.
I don't want to. I don't want Salah ever again. I think that's what I should do, by the way. But I think I'm gonna get Watkins definitely because I really want to captain him in week 18. So I need Watkins back. I'm a bit sad I sold him in the end, to be honest. And then Bruno to I think it's looking at Richarlison at the moment. But yeah. And probably, I think I do have to play with no goalie in all seriousness, right? I think I have to just risk it, right? With the one transfer, with only having the one transfer.
I think so, and hopefully one of them will be back soon anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Johnston's injury timeline is like. I think Roy will give us an update this midweek or some point, but Areola's been close for a few weeks, so I feel like he should play as well. I don't know, but yeah.
He's only been out a week, so I don't know. He's been close for a few weeks.
No, he's missed 2 games though.
Okay. Sam Johnson, the only worrying thing about him, he went off on like 87 minutes. It's not like he could have got to the end of the game. He had to come off, so
yeah.
Don't know, but we haven't heard anything on him. But yeah, goalies, if you get more than 2 points from your goalie these days, you're laughing, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Except for Neto, obviously.
And who you captaining?
Currently on Saka. Probably will go Son, I think. Or Richarlison, but
so you're pretty sure what you're doing, yeah?
I do. No, it's on Saka at the moment, but I've thought about Son a lot. I haven't seen him on any like captaincy polls, Like, I think people think Forest are really good or something, but
Yeah, it's Son. Son's the best captain, I think.
I've put Son as my captain on all my fan teams, so I think I'm gonna go Son because I obviously think he's the best option. You know what I mean? So yeah, Son, Young, Min, and then Richarlison vice probably. I can't
What
put
if the
it on
game
yet.
gets
Though,
called
so
off, Josh?
the
It's
game
COVID
gets
season
called
again,
off.
mate.
If the game gets called off, I'll just get to moan more about Salah anyway, so it's fine. I hate him. Right, JB, are you doing anything interesting this week?
No, not really. Like we said, I think Haaland's probably got to go unless he makes a miraculous recovery. I was happy to bench him for the one game that he missed, but probably not two. So it'd just be Haaland down to Solanke. May even do it when the Solanke price rise comes in, might be tonight. Get that one done and dusted. And other than that, Trippier's banned, but Livramento are coming for him. And then other than that, it's as you are, really. I think, like you said, captaincy, you could have a bit of fun with a captaincy this week. Watkins away at Brentford. You've got Salah, Man United, Saka, Brighton. I don't own Son. That may be something I look to do. So where I get the money from Solanke for Haaland, I might upgrade Diaz next week to Son. Other than that, as you are.
Yeah, I think Diaz, similar to Darwin's, going to get a bit of rotation over this period. So
Yeah, I only brought him in purely because Jota was injured, and I thought he'll play a few games, and he has played every game since, but he isn't firing. So Son looks like he's on form again. He had the injury worry as well. That's sort of put me off keeping him. So I was happy to do it at the time, but I think I want to reverse that one now.
yeah, it's an interesting one because there's actually loads of options, but for both strikers and midfielders now, isn't there? So it's sort of like when I get a chance to sell Darwin, I'll probably do the same as well, to be honest. But right now, obviously, I've got my transfers, as Doyle said, with his wildcard, I'm being dictated to what I need to do. You know what I mean? It's like put out that fire. So, and playing with 10 probably as well. So
Yeah, mine don't seem too bad. Once I get Son in for Diaz, hopefully I can downgrade Trippier maybe to get the money to get Haaland back. Should work. I haven't done the actual calculations, but should be there or thereabouts. So I've got my plan in place so that I can get the money for Haaland. Yeah.
Who are you capping?
At the moment, it's on Salah. Just it's Salah. He just does it. Don't need to ask why. Like we said earlier in the game, Man United obviously ain't exactly great at the moment. They just ship free to Bournemouth, so probably stay on Salah, I think, for the weekend. But if, like I said, if someone does want to have a bit of fun, don't see no reason why he can't go elsewhere to Saka against Brighton. Even Cole Palmer, Sheffield United, it's not a bad fixture. And yeah, if you had Son, Nottingham Forest haven't been playing very well either, but the only thing is they are quite good at home, so they could be a little bit better.
are you going Son?
Yeah. I don't think Forest are good at home. I think Forest are bad at home bad away.
Yeah, they did just lose 5-0 to Fulham away. I mean, as good as Fulham are, it's not a great result, is it? So,
Is that Forest though, the game?
yeah, I know. That we just said they bad home and away. That was our key takeaway.
Everton game was spanking at home 4 weeks ago. So. But that's that happens to everyone. To be fair, we spank everyone nowadays.
I can't believe how good you are. I mean, them 10 points really have cost you, haven't they?
Oh, we'd be in the top 4 race, that's for sure. Probably title race. If we hadn't had that weird run at the start of the season where the ball wouldn't go in the back of the net, we'd be flying. Third best defence in the league.
If you hadn't been unlucky in the first sort of 9 game weeks, you'd be top now in spite of the 10-point deduction. I think.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joke.
Yeah. Maybe next year, probably the title charge. I think. When we get relegated to the Championship, have to give us another 20-point deduction for no reason.
They've got to keep it interesting. Like it would just be boring otherwise if you just won it every year. You know what I mean? So they have to just keep taking points off whenever you get to a good position.
Are we doing Punts of the week? Are we doing that? Is that a thing?
Absolutely.
Go on in, take us away, Doyle.
I feel like everyone I've picked has just absolutely hauled in the next like 3 weeks after, but I never picked them in actual FPL. That's the problem.
You both think that. That's the interesting thing. You both think that everyone who you pick hauls, but
They do. Elanga, Willian, I've had.
William was a good one. Bloody hell.
Yeah, the only one I've not hit, the only one I missed was Jordan Ayew, but that was for the Ghana meme, so can't really count that.
I'm 3 out of 3 as well. Semenyo for Bournemouth, Kudos for West Ham, and Koleosho for Burnley.
I think Josh was 0 out of 3.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, mine have been doing well as well. Like I had Decore in the first week, for example, who's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's the best player in the game. He scores every week.
That's
it's
true.
Crazy.
He is the best player in the game. You're all right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong there. Right, has anyone got one in mind?
Yeah, I'll start this week. The fixtures aren't great, but I just like him when he's in the team. I'm going to go with Sarabia from Wolves. I think he could be very tasty. He got an assist at the weekend. I just like their attack at the minute with Juan Cunha and Sarabia. I think that might be a really nice little punt away from the ownership, because I think the other two will be a bit more popular than him. So Sarabia, I'll take you. That'll be mine.
I like that. I think he's been starting again.
He hasn't really. I mean, he started at the weekend and they did. Yeah, they did well as well. So
yeah, last 2, and he obviously scored that banger against Spurs, which got him back in the conversation. So, he's always been a favourite of mine from the Euros days. JB, have you got one?
Yeah, I got one. Going back to an old favourite, who people seem to have forgotten. He's dropped off the face of the planet, but he's back in action, pulling the strings for the Fulham boys. Andreas Pereira. So only 5.3 million. Decent fixtures. Hat-trick of assists went kind of unnoticed because Raul was doing the business up front, and that was the main talking point. But last 2 games, he's played 90 minutes in both. Before that, he was coming off as a sub a fair bit. But obviously, those 2 90s are coincided with the 5-0 wins. So yeah, I'm going Andreas Pereira. Great player.
I like that. I'm trying to decide how ugly I go with this. Okay, I'm going to just shoot it. The stats are awful. I know we like a guy with good XG and good XGI, but I'm going to go off the eye test purely. And a man who close to my heart for many years. Not been around for a while, but he's rejoined the Premier League this year with a team that was put down by a lot of the media. They didn't think they could stay up this year, but I think they're going to prove everyone wrong.
Played for both of you boys.
He has played for both teams.
Oh, not who I was thinking of then.
It's the attacking midfield sensation, Ross Barkley.
Oh, I like it. I've got to be honest. I like it. He's been playing all right.
He looked good against City at the weekend, and he's not putting up any sort of numbers whatsoever. But I think they're ticking in the background. The numbers will start showing.
Yeah.
Who did you think he was going to say, JB? That might be a bonus one for the fans.
No, it's not. But it's okay actually. I was going to say Andros Townsend.
Yeah, same team. Yeah. I've got a bonus one that we should have picked the last few weeks, by the way. Tommy Soucek has been absolutely unbelievable in the last 5 weeks. He just looks. He's got a bit of decent XG actually as well, but the eye test, he has looked so dangerous off corners every set piece. He's back to what he was, and he's just an absolute monster. He was actually who I was going to pick a couple of weeks ago, but then he started doing so good. I thought he was almost like a. Yeah, 4.9 though. He's just a genuine FPL option if you are going to play the 3 strikers now. I think he's like a good 8th midfielder. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a lot of under 5.5 assets emerged all of a sudden, isn't there?
Yeah,
just from nowhere. Yeah.
I was going to say Jack Harrison was my sort of other one as well. I think he's started to look pretty good actually the last few weeks. So.
He must be more than that price. So, 5.5. He's on 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5 on the dot.
You'd take Decore over him though, right?
Yeah.
Decore plays every minute, doesn't he? You know what I mean? It's a big thing, and he's like quite advanced as well. So
yeah, he's second striker. Did you see the stat? Decore, he scored in his last 30 games. If Dash had 30 games, he scored 11 goals in that time. He scores 1 in 3. It's outrageous.
That's crazy. The other stat that surprised me this weekend was Aston Villa have won 15 home games in the Premier League in a row. Look,
I knew they were on a massive streak. I knew they were on a big streak, but I didn't know that many. It's outrageous, isn't it?
I don't think anyone's ever done that. City probably have, but
Do you think they have a shot at the league? They don't, do they?
But we tipped them for top 4. We couldn't have been any more ahead of the curve on that. Like,
That's
you
true.
know, we have to give ourselves a bit of credit. I mean,
we're very self-deprecating on this podcast, but you know, occasionally we come up with a good shout or two.
we should have put some fucking money on it.
We should have piled on that, Jesus.
God, that was so annoying.
What do you think about the title race, you two? Who do you think's obviously City is always going to be the favourites, but they're not looking good at all. Haaland out for a week.
I think Arsenal are favourites this year. Honestly, the way it's playing out at the moment, City, if they need to grind through this period, I know they got the result against Luton. I mean, as they should. Let's be honest. They need to win in whenever Haaland's not playing. They need to get the results. They need to win in 17. They need to win in 19 if he doesn't play. Then they need to just like weather this storm. You know what I mean? Because the squad in terms of the attacking positions is way thinner than it has been.
Yeah,
it's really not good.
When's De Bruyne back?
Supposed to be in January, so that'll be a big boost because they've missed him like crazy.
Yeah.
I
think I agree. I think Arsenal are favourites. I think they just look, well, they lost against Villa at the weekend, but they look the sort of most weathered team at the moment in terms of being able to grind results out. I think Rice just adds that for them.
They've got the depth as well. They have got some depth now. Like they didn't have this before. It definitely makes it more of a level playing field. Whereas last year you thought one injury and they were done basically, which is what happened in the end with Saliba and yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still in trouble if Saliba goes down, but yeah.
I mean, this Kivior has not been good when he's played. He played against Luton, I think, and it was just absolute rubbish. But yeah, I think Arsenal. I like the depth. I don't think Liverpool are going to win. I don't think they're good enough defensively, but they are top at the moment. So
yeah. What about you, JB?
Yeah, really open at the moment. I think it's going to be. I'm just going to try and enjoy it. I think it'd be quite exciting for a change with a few teams up there. I've still got a sneaking suspicion once it gets going after Christmas. Just Man City, they're just so strong that they'll be there or thereabouts. But could be a little bit closer this season, I think. And yeah, it should be an exciting running.
Would love Villa to just keep on a run for quite a while and just like sort of get ahead somehow. You know what I mean? And just then we can sort of just watch it to see if they hold on in some crazy Leicester-esque situation, you know what I mean? But
I think even Spurs are in the conversation. They're running fifth, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have lost. They did lose 4 in a row before this week. I mean, imagine if they hadn't lost those.
Mate, why do you think they lost 4 in a row? Let's piece this one together, mate. Yeah.
It's probably because Richarlison wasn't starting, isn't it? Yeah.
100%. As soon as he comes back in, bang, Newcastle off your pot. Everyone's talking about James Maddison. They have no clue. It's Richarlison pulling the strings all
along. Let's see if he pulls the strings as my captain this weekend. I can guarantee something will happen. They'll probably have 3 red cards and he'll be subbed off on 30 minutes or something like that. Whatever I do just breaks at the moment. It's just like...
yeah, I feel you.
I've got to captain him. I mean...
we all got a really awful run. We're all got a terrible run out. I think JB's doing slightly better than us do at the moment, but I think like the last 3 or 4 game weeks have just been abysmal.
You've been in form like before this period. Like
the last 3, before the last 3, I was on fire, and then I've just collapsed. Literally, just collapsed back to the pack.
Mine's been like this for like 9 weeks now. Literally, it's been like your form was when I started being bad. Like that's how long mine's been. Absolutely insane. Yeah, Richarlison Cap will bring it back this weekend. We like the fixture, don't we, Doyle? So we like the fixture. So
yeah,
that's what we'll do.
Back against me, but I'll press the best anyone else.
First game of the game week as well. So that'll get us off in the right way, won't it? We'll be dead by Friday night. That'll be good. Nice early end to the week. Right, we done?
You're going to send us out in true Waldridge style?
Absolutely. All in FPL on YouTube. Please subscribe. And All in FPL on X. Please follow us there. And yeah, all your comments on YouTube are appreciated as well as any like tweets or anything like that. So yeah, we'll always reply. Okay.
Cheers, guys. Have a good game week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.